I lost my dog 4 years ago. His name was Cooper. He was a black and white border collie who followed me everywhere. If I went downstairs, he followed. If I went outside, he was already waiting by the door. After he was gone, I eventually moved to a quiet house in Colorado. I installed a small security camera above my garage. It automatically saved footage whenever it detected movement. One night, around 10:30 p.m., my phone buzzed. Motion detected garage camera. I opened the notification. At the end of my driveway stood a dog. Black and white, red collar, white paws. I stared at the screen. It looked exactly like Cooper. I told myself it was just another dog from the neighborhood. Then it slowly turned its head toward the camera. I couldn't see its face clearly, but I recognized the collar. The same red collar Cooper had worn. I rewound the footage. At 10:17 p.m., the driveway was completely empty. At 10:18, the dog was simply there. It hadn't walked into the frame. It was just standing there. I checked the camera settings. There was no old footage. Nothing from 4 years ago. I watched the recording again. This time, I noticed something behind the dog. Near the edge of the driveway, there was a person standing in the shadows. They were wearing a dark jacket. They weren't looking at the camera. They were looking at the dog. I checked the timestamp. The person appeared at 10:17, 1 minute before the dog. I looked outside. The driveway was empty. No dog, no person. I went back inside and watched the footage again. Then I noticed something even stranger. The person wasn't walking toward the driveway. They were already standing there. And when the dog appeared, the person turned toward my house. That was when I stopped thinking this was a camera glitch. I locked the doors and checked every window. Nothing. Then, at exactly 10:18 p.m. the next night, my phone buzzed again. Motion detected garage camera. I opened it. The driveway was empty, but the garage door looked slightly open. I knew I'd closed it. I went outside and checked. The garage was locked. I looked down at the concrete. There were 4 wet paw prints leading from the driveway straight to the garage door. Then my phone displayed another notification. Animal detected. I opened the live camera feed. The screen was almost completely dark. And somewhere behind the camera, I heard 3 quiet scratches against the back door. Scratch, scratch, scratch. I turned toward the door. Nothing was there. Then my phone buzzed one more time. Someone is standing at your back door. I didn't turn around. I just stared at the notification on my phone. Someone is standing at your back door. I slowly looked toward the glass. There was nobody outside. The scratching had stopped. I locked the back door and went upstairs. For the next hour, I kept checking the security cameras. Nothing. Then, at 10:18 p.m., another notification appeared. Person detected garage camera. I opened it. The same figure was standing at the end of my driveway. This time, they were facing the camera. A few seconds later, the dog appeared beside them. The person slowly lowered one hand. The dog looked up. Then both of them turned toward my house. I switched to the live feed. The driveway was completely empty, but the camera had somehow changed to the view of my back door. And standing outside it was the dog. I froze. The dog sat down and stared directly into the camera. Then it raised one paw and tapped the glass 3 times. Tap, tap, tap. My phone suddenly went black. The next morning, I called the camera company. They checked my account and found something strange. A file had appeared on my camera that shouldn't have existed. It was dated August 2nd, 2022. For years earlier. That was the exact day Cooper disappeared. I asked the technician if he could open it. He tried. The file wouldn't play. But he told me something else. The system showed that the file had been created at exactly 10:18 p.m. I couldn't explain it. I went into my garage and searched through an old box containing Cooper's things. His leash, his toys, his old collar. I picked up the collar, the red collar, the exact one I'd seen on the camera. Then I looked at the security feed again. The dog was still outside, wearing the same collar. I looked down at the collar in my hand. Something was wrong. The silver tag attached to the collar had my old phone number engraved on it. the number I had stopped using 4 years ago. Before I could think about it, my phone started ringing. The caller ID showed that same old number. I didn't answer. It rang 3 times, then stopped. A few seconds later, another notification appeared. Motion detected backyard. I opened the camera. The backyard was empty, but near the kitchen window there was something lying on the ground. I zoomed in. It was Cooper's leash. The same leash I had been holding only seconds earlier. Then the camera feed suddenly changed. The hallway inside my house appeared on the screen. At the far end was a dark shape. It wasn't moving. I watched for several seconds. Then the shape slowly disappeared into the darkness. My phone went black again. And when the screen came back, the date on the camera had changed. August 2nd, 2022. I checked the clock. It was 10:18 p.m. For a few seconds, I couldn't move. Then every security camera in my house turned on at the same time. The living room, the kitchen, the garage, the backyard. Every feed was empty, except the hallway. Something was standing at the far end. Couldn't see a face. It didn't move. Then another camera notification appeared. Motion detected driveway. I opened it. The driveway was empty, but the footage showed something walking away from my house. I couldn't make out what it was. I zoomed in. It was 2 dogs, one black and white, the other slightly smaller. They were walking toward the road together. Then the footage ended. The next morning, I stayed at my brother's house. I never went back alone. A week later, I checked the security account one final time. Almost every strange recording was gone, but one file remained. It was only 8 seconds long. The driveway was completely empty. Then, near the end of the recording, the camera briefly picked up 2 small figures walking down the road. I paused the video. It was Cooper, and beside him was another dog. I remembered something from the shelter records. Before I adopted Cooper, he'd been found with another dog. That dog had disappeared before Cooper came home with me. I never knew what happened to it. I closed the recording. I thought that was the end. But every August 2nd since then, at exactly 10:18 p.m., my phone receives the same notification. Motion detected. I never open it, because I already know what the camera will show. 2 dogs, walking home,